New Blood Interactive has been making quite the name for themselves, releasing a bounty of retro-style first-person shooters in the last few years. Most notably the fiendishly excellent Dusk, which I am quite fond of. And now, what New Blood did for FPS games with Dusk, they want to repeat for immersive sims with Gloomwood. Gloomwood was properly revealed only yesterday, and to my delight, its announcement coincided with the release of a demo on Steam. And so I thought I'd sneak right into Gloomwood's gothic streets and let you know my first impressions. So put on your trench coats and grab some cheese, we're about to get sneaky. Gloomwood has been described as thief with guns, and yep, that description is right on the money. Gloomwood faithfully recreates the look and feel of Looking Glass's landmark stealth game, but adds in a few new twists and improvements to the formula. Just like in Thief, you can sneak through the open-ended cobbled streets where you can use shadow as cover, peek around corners, stab the spooky guards in the back, and of course, hide their bodies. Unlike Thief though, you can also rampage through the levels and mow down these big-hatted buffoons with a revolver or a chunky shotgun, assuming you can find enough ammo to do so. Playing this way is certainly enjoyable, but as is usually the case with most games of this type, you're probably going to get more out of the game through stealth and using the environment to your advantage. After the game teaches you the basics, the demo opens up and allows the player to start making their own choices, with a handful of routes the player can choose from. A switch at the top of a guard tower opens up the gates blocking these routes, however, I discovered early on that a well-timed jump into the water below allowed me to bypass all of this. Gloomwood doesn't limit your imagination, and like any good immersive sim, if you can find a way to do something and it works, well, then it works. However, one thing that took me aback was not being able to shoot the lights out. Now in Thief, being able to extinguish torches with water arrows was one of the defining features of that game, and in Gloomwood, which takes so much from Thief's design, the omission is a bit strange. Now it could be that New Blood deemed the feature unnecessary, and I'll admit there was never a point where I felt I needed to shoot a light out, but then again that sort of thinking feels a bit at odds with the general spirit of immersive sims, which strive to give the player as much freedom as possible. Plus, isn't there a potential trade-off here? Like, if you choose to shoot at a light, you risk the guards hearing your gunshot and coming to investigate? Then again, this is only the demo. For all I know, there's an item or another system meant for this exact thing. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. The first big thing that stuck out to me in the game was the HUD, or rather the lack of one. Everything the player needs to know is indicated within the game world. For example, enemy alertness is indicated by the light cones coming from their eyes. Green for normal, yellow for cautious, and red for fully alert. If for some reason you aren't a fan of this, or just want a tougher experience, you can turn this off in the options menu. Holding down the R key causes the Gloom dude to open up the barrel of his gun so you can check your ammo. And your health is shown in the inventory, which itself is represented physically in the game world. The only exception is the moon at the bottom right of your screen, which is meant to indicate your visibility, a clear nod to Thief's light gem. All these choices were very refreshing and give the game that extra bit of immersion. Not once did I feel frustrated by the lack of a HUD, and if anything, it made me pay more attention to my environment. Visually, the game continues New Blood's signature low-poly look reminiscent of late 90s PC games. It may be easy on the graphics card, but it effectively conveys a gothic atmosphere that feels both nostalgic and new. Obviously, it's all a nod to the city from Thief, but the more Victorian style reminded me a bit of Bloodborne. Sound is also excellent. The ambiance of Gloomwood feels eerie and perfect, much like the game that inspired it. The demo is also very stable. I saw virtually no bugs or performance issues, but I did run into one instance of jank with a guard getting stuck behind a door, so hopefully the dev team can polish this up. Something that really surprised me though were the fixed save points in the form of phonographs. This is something really unusual for this type of game, and typically we see this in survival horror games. Think the typewriters from Resident Evil. This worried me as it kinda goes against the trial and error nature of immersive sims and stealth games in general. And yeah, I'm definitely the type of player that does a lot of quick saving and loading in these types of games. But the worry dissipated quickly when I completed the first objective in the level and was looped right back to the first phonograph. In fact, the design of the demo is basically one small HUD area that branches into 2 loops that lead you right back to the start. It actually has more in common with the level design of a Souls game, which I think is a great choice for this type of game. Instead of typewriters, we should think of them as bonfires. And because these loops are relatively short, if I died or decided to retry an area, reloading back to the phonograph was not the punishment I thought it was going to be. I'm looking forward to seeing how New Blood iterates on this in the game's later levels. All in all, it looks like Gloomwood is shaping up to be another excellent game from New Blood. So far, I'm impressed with how they've reimagined the gameplay of Thief, and am eager to see the new directions they take with it. There's a few other things in the demo I could go into, but honestly, I'll leave those up for you guys to find. I highly recommend downloading this and trying it for yourself. Gloomwood doesn't have a release date other than soon, so hopefully before the end of the year we'll be sneaking, shooting, and uploading our no-kill runs on YouTube. But hey, what do you guys think? Anybody else stoked for Gloomwood? Anybody play the demo yet? Or does anybody have any questions about it? Be sure to let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It is a tremendous help in my fight to appease the all-powerful algorithm. I post videos every Thursday and sometimes bonus ones like this, so be sure to ring that bell so you are the first to see them. I'm Kirk, and thank you for watching this video. Stay safe out there.